Hi everyone, welcome to week 11. This week we'll be taking a critical look at 3 different physical literacy resources. The provincial government of British Columbia's Participation 24-hour movement guidelines for children, specifically for children ages 0 to 4, a physical literacy blog post by Healthy Families BC, and lastly, a short video that speaks to the developmental benefits of early intervention to health and skill development via physical education. So we'll be paying attention to physical literacies and health discourses in early childhood education. And we'll be visiting with these resources and thinking with an article by Nicole Land and Ildiko Danis to tease out some of the developmental discourses at play in these resources and to unpack some of the concepts that are being shared. So this week, again, we'll be reading the article by Nicole Land and Ildiko Danis called Movementing Provocations in Early Childhood Education. So by Saturday at 11:55 p.m., visit the websites posted on Moodle Week 11, watch the physical literacies video, read the short provocation by Nicole Land called Muscling Pedagogies, and post your weekly notes. By Sunday at 11:55 p.m., participate in your group's 1-hour virtual collaboratory and discuss the questions provided, and respond to a classmate's Week 11 notes. So throughout this course, we've traced the histories and origins of developmental theory, paid attention not only to their settler colonial roots and how they've evolved to operate within neoliberal regimes of governmentality via education and discourses. We've also paid attention to readiness and future success that create a sort of fear and urgency that if specific skills aren't established early on, that children's futures are at stake. So these anxieties are then soothed by rationalities of developmental psychology that structure the resources, tools, and curricula that aim to instill these skills and produce foreseeable outcomes in the pursuit of said success. Yet, in the acquisition of skills, or if the acquisition of skills never ends and children continue to climb the hierarchy of development and the acquisition of this knowledge, anxieties are never truly soothed as there's always a future object to accumulate. So in the article this week by Land and Danis, the authors write that these anxieties about the prevalence of obesity, for example, as an epidemic that is constructed and maintained by neoliberalism, capitalism, and settler colonialism, these regulatory tendencies of mainstream early years policies become increasingly visible. And this is particularly strong in physical and health education. And this week you'll be watching a short video clip on physical literacy, which outlines the developmental benefits that will help children pay attention, focus, acquire skills, and the foundations necessary to find success in future life activities, where educators are to deliver specific curricula in order to obtain specific outcomes. So there's an illusion of ultimate well-being via mandated curriculum that relies on evidence of science for social improvements to prevent obesity. And there's a particular urgency here in this video where without physical education, the effects could be detrimental to a child's well-being. So how physical education aids in a child's literacy and math skills, a fear of future limitations in life if the child doesn't engage in PE curricula is something that is kind of presented in this video. So Land and Danis write that physical literacy pedagogies draw on evidence-based knowledges and deploy techniques of individualization, normativity, responsibility, and citizenship to assert the legitimacy of specific governmentally and developmentally approved forms of movement over others. So in your Week 11 notes, ask yourselves, how are discourses of readiness, future success, and progress played out within the physical literacy resources that are posted on Moodle? reflect on our reading thus far in the Berman text and this week's article by Landon Danis, and discuss how these discourses might reinforce an impulse of responsibility within and to neoliberal governmentalities. So post a 200 to 300 word response to Moodle by Saturday at 11:55 p.m. and then respond to one other post by Sunday at 11:55 p.m. So in your virtual collaboratory discussion this week, discuss the questions posed by Land in her piece called Muscling Pedagogies, that's on the Early Childhood Collaboratory's website, and pay particular attention to this question. What happens if we shift our pedagogical concern from what movements children do or what muscles we have to wondering how moving muscles open up a possibility for children to be part of a body? So what kinds of orientations, sensitivities, and dispositions might this pedagogical concern require of us as educators? And this is something that you can take up in your virtual collaboratory and then document some of your conversation and wonderings and curiosities in your group's Google Doc. Okay, thanks everyone. Have a great week.